will talk up to the end of the day if we don't resolve that. Because there are some things that an arbitrator cannot handle, especially where there is no transparency. When somebody doesn't give you the rightful information, then at the end of the day, you'll be making a judgment based on hearsay. For me, I'm open to a negotiation, to a discussion with the Federation. We can sit as ladies and see how we can handle this. We will co-opt other people in that meeting and see how we resolve that, if the minister so wishes. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, I join colleagues in appreciating the statement of the Minister. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister, I know, Honorable Peter Ogwanga is a very active and serious person we have in this Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, when Peter Ogwanga was in economic monitoring, he went and arrested everybody who had participated in corruption. So we know the person we are talking about. What he caused during that time, people will live to remember, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, through your office, maybe you need to re-energize Peter to move out of the office and sort out this. Peter, this thing is beyond the statements they write to you. There is a very serious battle, Right Honorable Speaker, between the Federation and the National Council of Sports. The Secretary General, the other side, has his team, and the President, this side, has her team. That is where the battle is. We shall not move any further when the Secretary General writes to you what he feels like. Right Honorable Speaker, you can't form an ad hoc committee to last for more than 10 months. They formed a committee that has a lifespan, which is, I think, 12 months. It's nearly a year. That means he knows very well that he will not solve the problem in the next few days. Right Honorable Speaker, secondly, when the team failed to go to Botswana, the chairperson of the ad hoc committee said they could not mobilize resources because of the wrangles, not because they could not benefit anything from Botswana. The statement of the minister said they saw it as a tournament which was not very important for the Cranes. But when he was interviewed, he said, because of the current wrangles, it was hard for them to mobilize resources to be there. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I request through your office to make sure, as the Honorable Abe requested, that we know how you can move and turn things. Kindly intervene in this. Otherwise, every day you will receive statements on the floor. Every side will bring its side. And at the end of the day, it will be Parliament losing and it will be Uganda losing. Because this is Uganda Netball Federation. It's not the president, it's not an individual. Revoking a certificate of a full federation that you are not allowed to participate in any international tournament, that goes beyond. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as your members of Parliament, we request you to pick interest in this, intervene, and we have this sorted.
Thank you, thank you. Honorable Minister, the revocation of that certificate is a shame to the country. The internal conflicts between the federations and National Council of Sports should not cost this country when you're still the minister in that ministry. I am happy that he has praised you that you did a very good job. So you should be able to stand to your task. And when you look at, because they are now on counter accusations. Counter accusations. Today, Chitio has been arrested. She's gone to Luzera. Another one will be arrested tomorrow. So you need to resolve that issue. Yes, finally, Propua.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The only hope for the poor people is always exploiting their talent. And Right Honorable Speaker, when we see a crisis in a federation that promotes talent, it worries the poor people. I want to submit, Right Honorable Speaker, for clarification from the Honorable Minister, who has actually presented a very good statement to to the standards that we have had here of statements, this passes as one of the excellent statements. Something that I want to know, is there a mechanism of those who take leadership in these sports federations for them to be inducted in their respective offices? Because we have seen these mistakes being made in the sports federation in the past. We remember the late Oboa had to be in a prison in the football federation. And so many other things have been coming up and down. So is there a mechanism?
But Football Federation is doing very well.
Now it is doing very well. Is there a mechanism of inducting these leaders who take up leadership? Because, you know, I was about to ask, it is about the type of values a leader who is elected. You know, they are elected. There is no interview they sit for. They look at, sports is lucky, the Football Federation is lucky, that qualitatively, when they voted a man of substance.
Exactly, a salon.
But even then, when they choose a leader, you are not going to remove him or her undemocratically. Your role as national National Council for Sports is to induct them, to make sure that they do what is appropriate to promote talent. And even if we intervene when that mechanism, that lack of knowledge gap is still there, we need that mechanism where they will have the right knowledge, right values, and skills imparted in these office bearers who take up the offices.
Thank you.
Indeed, I ask the Honorable Minister to go down in the primary schools. This is where our poor people live. We want to see many more talents. If you dig the background of these star performers in Kapchorwa, they lived in grass-thatched houses. But because of excelling and developing their talent, you can see they are driving V8, supposed to be driven by a member of parliament, ministers, even better than by what you drive, Honorable Minister, because of talent. So let us take this matter seriously, right, Honorable Speaker, such that the biggest number of our people who can have this opportunity to develop their talent, they come out of poverty. I beg.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As you've heard, you need to go as far as primary schools. I am happy the secondary schools, where some of us are members, have an association of Uganda Secondary Schools Association for Sports, and it is doing very, very well, very well. We are getting talents, and you find that some students who are not able even to afford the proposals, like the thinkers of today, are able to study for free because of their talent. These people are studying, these students are studying for free because of their talent from secondary up to even university. Before I get the minister to respond, in the public gallery, we have pupils and teachers from Bunakija Church of Uganda, from Mukono, and they are represented by Honorable Nabukeran Hanifa and Honorable Kayondo Fred. Please stand up. Pupils, you're most welcome. Thank you for coming. This is your parliament, and please come again. Thank you so much. Have a seat. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers and pupils of Kinoni Integrated Primary School in Rampara District. You members of Parliament of Rampara, first stand up. We have Honorable Kankunda. Where are the members? We have Honorable Kankunda Amos. Honorable Kankunda Amos is our chairman of Finance Committee, very diligent person. Very, very good member of parliament. We have Tusime. Tusime is there, very humble. So I wish you could. And then we have Honorable Molly Musime. She's a lady. And please bring back all our 3 people. Don't start changing. Okay? Thank you so much. You want to greet your people?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. On behalf of my colleagues, Honorable Tsimi and Honorable Mola Simwe, would like to appreciate our teachers. They teach in the great Chinoni Integrated Primary School. I'm an OB of that school. When I finished my P7 in that school, I went to the only school, Ntare School. And want to appreciate you, our teachers, for coming. And they are one of the best schools we have in our district. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for producing the legislators that you have. Thank you. Honorable Minister of Sports.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I need your protection. Madam Speaker.
Silence.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I would like to begin by thanking honorable colleagues for asking those questions. I want to begin by answering the one of Honorable Tinkasimire. It is true, the National Council of Sports does training and inductions of these presidents of the respective federations. And they do it not once, not twice. It is also true that government under the Uganda Secondary Schools Sports Association, government under the primary, under our Ministry of Education and Sports, and with the money you provide as Parliament, continues to promote talent identification and development. And is no wonder for secondary, Bukedia Comprehensive and Amos College are going to host the federations of the East African Secondary Schools Associations competition in Uganda and in Eastern Uganda. And I want to say, Right Honorable Speaker, you are a director of that school. Congratulations. We will have the entire East Africa.
Thank you. I bet you first clap for my school.
Maybe you clap for the Speaker's school. We will have the entire East Africa come to Uganda and specifically in the Bukedia district. Why do they come here? It's because of our plan to continue to deepen the identification of talents for our children. Netball, according to the National Development Plan, is a priority sport. And as government, and according to the statement I've given, honorable colleagues, the issues which are affecting netball are stated in my statement. However, Madam Speaker, I want to implore you to allow the chairperson of Public Accounts Committee present a report here, because this Parliament did carry out a thorough investigation into the management and mismanagement of the funds into this respective federation, and specifically into Netball Federation. The problem at hand, honorable colleagues, before, government used not to put quite some big amount of money into sports. Today, with your support, government is earmarking money to be put into this respective federation. Now, the challenge is, when you talk about wrangles in the federation, as government, this laws prohibit us from direct interference into day-to-day management of this respective federation. What do? When we advance you money, you don't want to account for the money. You're not paying people who are meant to get this money. What do you expect of me as a minister to do? To continue giving you money? Now I want to say that because of that, the subject matter, Madam Speaker, we are discussing, the information I have, the then president, because we withdrew the certificate, the then president is under police custody as of today and yesterday. The DPP, actually DPP got cases against her, and I want to confirm she's already appearing in the anti-corruption court because of the mismanagement of the public funds which are meant to the specific federation. Now, what is the way forward? Number one, in my statement, I say, it is not the National Council of Sports which formed the harmonization committee, the normalization committee. It's the World Netball which identified the members to be appointed in the normalization committee in line with the National Sports Act we passed in this parliament. I want to repeat that. It's not National Council of Sports. No wonder you see in that committee, there's one person from the Uganda Olympic Committee. There's another person representing the players who is the captain of the players. Then the government or National Council of Sports has one person in there. Then there's one which the World Athletics, the World Netball Federation identified into that. That committee has started work. It is also not true that we have not sent money.
Honorable Minister, just before you move on,
Yes.
you said you're already implementing the law
Yes.
without having regulations in place.
Yes.
Is that proper?
Madam Speaker.
No, just a minute. Attorney General, can the laws be implemented without regulations that operationalize the law? I don't tell him what to say. He is talking law, not politics.
Right, Honorable. It depends on the provisions in a particular law.
No, this one's
Not
require
every law,
regulations.
not every law requires regulations.
This one
to be
requires
implemented.
regulations.
But if any specific law needs to be operationalized by a regulation, then so be it.
Yes, this one requires regulations. And that's why one of the members was raising that, when are you bringing regulations?
Madam Speaker, I want to confirm that we have, as a Minister of Education and Sports, instituted a committee which is working with the Office of the Attorney General to finalize on the regulations, which I want to request Parliament to give me 2 months to lay those regulations before Parliament here. Madam Speaker, as I conclude on some of the issues, the other issue which was raised was on the issue of the arbitration. Like Honorable Opio said, it is true. I'm happy, Madam Speaker, you cited the law. This one requires me, and it's within the regulations. Madam, my sister, Honorable Otuko, talked about the question of the provision of the what of the science. I want to say this, that this competition is true, it's there. I picked this when I was addressing children of Ntare School. I am taking it up as the Minister of Education for us, and I ask Parliament to support us when we come here asking for the budget support. It is true, Madam, you've answered the question of Honorable Chamtai, the question of the rewards. The law is there, and I want to call upon our brothers and sisters from Sebei. They have made us proud. On the issue of the national coach for the Sheikh Rains, I want to say partly this part of the problems. The federations are the ones who enter into contract with the respective coaches. My role as government is to facilitate the federation. I do not go into paying the federation, the coach money. It's the federation to pay. So if the coach was not paid, it is the federation who failed because of their challenges internal they have to pay the coach. So for that matter, it's one of the issues which we're having. The other one is on the issue of the what? The conflicts to be resolved. I want to say, the blessing we have, Madam Speaker, is a law. These conflicts, as of now, will be resolved using the current existing sports law. So whether we chair many meetings, what I only want to ask us, that let's implement the law as it is. And as of us as a ministry, we are following the law. And I want to say, netball is bigger than any individual, and it's bigger than all of us. We will not accept netball to fail, or to, as in this country, as a sport. We will not, but we will continue to correct people who want to personalize that netball as a personal entity for purpose of wanting to use it to enrich themselves and to mismanage and fail our children from continuing with the game of netball. As of now, Madam Speaker, I want to say, I thank you for giving us opportunity to give a statement on the issues which were raised. I want to repeat in my concluding remarks Madam Speaker, that Uganda Netball Federation may reapply for recognitions once the issues that have led to the withdrawal of the certificate of recognition have been addressed. Government is further committed to streamlining and promoting governance practices within all the recognized national sports federations. So to those who are listening to us here, please sort out your internal issues, then reapply. And I'm happy the normalization committee is undertaking that, and we'll have netball back on track sooner than later. I thank you so much for listening to me. I say all
Thank
this
you.
for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Gender, Labor and Social Development on the petition on midterm access of NSSF benefits.
Honorable member, petitions are an avenue for citizens to engage Parliament on issues that affect them, specifically with the specific prayers. The House passed the National Social Security Amendment Bill 2021 in November, and Amendment Section 24 to provide for midterm access for eligible savers. The report that we are set to receive today and this afternoon is in relation to the petition regarding a midterm access. I therefore request the chairperson to come and present the summary of her report,
Thank you very much, Right Honorable
because we need to give time for members to raise their issues. Honorable ministers, don't go away. You have to answer members' issues.
Right Honorable Speaker, the report of the Committee on Gender, Labor and Social Development on the petition, as you mentioned, on the midterm access for NSSF benefits. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Gender looked at the petition and engaged with a number of institutions around it, NSSF inclusive. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to lay on table a file containing the minutes and the report. I lay, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to also lay a copy of the Human Resources Policy Manual from NSSF, which answered some of the questions that the petitioner was putting across.
Yes.
Allow me also to lay the communication strategy, Right Honorable Speaker, that involves even the appeals system and the complaints strategy for NSSF. I beg to lay.
Please lay.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with Rule 30, Sub-Rule 6 of the Rules of Procedure, you referred a petition on the midterm access of NSSF benefits to the Committee on Gender, Labor and Social Development for consideration and reporting back to the House. Madam Speaker, the petitioner, Mr. Aleper Simon Peter, referred to as the petitioner, was a 46-year-old person with contributions in NSSF of 84 months, and he had been jobless since December 2021. The petitioner avers that the petition was brought in his capacity as a saver and a member of NSSF, and also as a whistleblower on the mismanagement of the fund. It is the petitioner's claim that there was a large number of savers who had been deprived of seeking midterm access to their benefits due to a wrong application of the recently passed NSSF Amendment Act 2021. The petitioner accuses the fund of having sneaked a clause which bars many savers from accessing their midterm benefits. In this regard, the petitioner avers that the law intended to allow access to midterm benefits to a person who had saved with the fund for 120 months and not to a person who had made contributions to the fund for 120 months. The petitioner is also aggrieved by the procedure and the technicalities that are involved when a person seeks midterm access to their benefits. He specifically stated that employees of NSSF connive with employers to avoid remitting their employees' contribution to the fund, and that the whistleblowers who raise such issues with the fund administration are not assisted. The petitioner further says that there is need for Parliament to scrutinize investment undertakings of the main management of the fund to ensure return on capital of its projects. He also raises a concern that monies are lost in poor investment plans by the fund. Madam Speaker, the committee considered the above petition and now reports on observations, findings, observations, and recommendations. Madam Speaker, on page 11 of my report are the observations and recommendations. The committee makes the following observations based on the prayers of the petitioner. Number one, that NSSF savers who had reached 45 years and had saved with the fund for the last 10 years or more be allowed to access their 20% accrued savings as it was stated before the amendment of 120 months contribution. The position of the law in regard to eligibility to access NSSF midterm benefits is provided for under Section 20A of the NSSF Amendment Act 2021, which states that, 1, a member who has made contributions to the fund shall be allowed midterm access to his or her benefits accrued from the contributions. 2, a member who is 45 years of age and above and who has made contributions to the fund under Section 7 for at least 10 years is eligible to midterm access to his or her benefits of a sum not exceeding 20% of his or her accrued benefits. By introducing midterm access benefits, Parliament intended to create an exception which enables a member who had contributed to the fund for at least 10 years and was 45 years and above to access his or her benefits while they were still contributing to the fund. The intention of Parliament is well stated in the Parliament Hansard dated 24th November 2021 on pages 14 and 15, where the Right Honorable Chairperson of the whole House stated that what we are dealing with now is to create another exception because of this COVID-19 pandemic, so that those who are still contributing and are continuing to contribute can have midterm access to a percentage of what they have kept with the fund. That is what is being proposed now. The Right Honorable Chairperson and the Attorney General also distinguished access to midterm benefits from access to withdrawal benefits that accrue to a member as a result of unemployment. The Attorney General stated on page 14 that if the person has been out of employment for a year and he can prove that he has been employed for a period, they can apply to withdraw from the fund. Under Section 19, subsection 1 and 21 of the Act, a member of the fund is entitled to withdraw benefits if he or she attains the age of 50 years and if he or she has not been employed under a contract of service for a period of 1 year immediately preceding his or her claim. Therefore, the committee observes that the petitioner's allegation that a certain clause was sneaked to deprive many savers from accessing midterm benefits is erroneous, misleading, and factually incorrect, as illustrated from the Hansard of 24th November 2021, as we have quoted above. The second observation is on the process of accessing savers' benefits, which was shortened. The procedure for seeking access to midterm, the petitioner was recommending that the process for accessing savers' benefits be shortened. The procedure for seeking access to midterm benefits is provided for under the National Social Security Fund Midterm Access to Benefits Regulations 2022. According to Regulation 5, the procedure is commenced by an application to the fund made in the form set out in the schedule to the regulations and accompanied with the relevant documents. Under Regulation 7, the fund, on receipt of the application, reviews the application, and where an applicant qualifies for midterm access to benefits, the claim shall be expeditiously processed and paid in not later than 45 working days from the date of receipt of the application. Regulation 7(2) states that the fund can reject an application and state the reasons for the rejection. However, the committee observes that the fund's communication strategy was ineffective, given that oftentimes rejected applications do not get timely feedback. Further, the committee observes that the regulations do not provide for a review of the decisions of the fund management on payment of midterm benefits, and therefore, the contributing members of the fund are not given an opportunity to appeal the decisions of the fund management. The committee was informed that the fund had a plan to shorten the period of processing the access to benefits to 14 working days to assist members with ease of access to their benefits. The third prayer was that the whistleblowers be facilitated and their documentation is handled expeditiously when they make their complaints to NSSF management. The committee observes that the petitioner did not support his allegations of NSSF connivance with employers to avoid remitting of contributions to the fund. Thus, this claim could not be verified. Further, the petitioner was reluctant to share additional details about the employer in question or in regard to his experience when he visited the fund. Thus, this claim could also not be interrogated. However, management informed the committee that it was aware that some employers default on remittances of benefits, while some employees conspire with their employers not to declare NSSF contributions. Prayer number 4, that Parliament scrutinizes the nature of investments made by NSSF. The fund is required under the law to ensure proper accountability for money spent on investments and records of assets and liabilities of the fund. According to Section 3 of the NSSF Act, with amendment, the fund is governed by a stakeholder board of directors appointed by the minister, and according to Section 3(1)(d), the board includes 4 representatives of employees nominated by the Federation of Labor Unions and 2 representatives of employers nominated by Federation of Employers, the permanent secretaries from the ministry responsible for labor and the ministry responsible for finance, and the managing director as an ex officio member. Section 30 stipulates that monies of the fund shall be invested in such investments as may be determined by the board in consultation with the minister. Section 31(b) mandates the board to keep and provide proper books of accounts and records in regard to assets and liabilities, and to prepare a balance sheet and statement showing details of income and expenditure and all its assets and liabilities every financial year. Section 32(2) requires that the balance sheet of the fund is audited by the Auditor General, and upon receipt of a copy of the audited statement of account, together with a copy of the audited report on the statement of account made by the auditors, the board shall submit the same to the minister. The board is further required under Section 33 to submit to the minister a performance report on the fund not later than 6 months after the end of each financial year, and thereafter, board publishes the performance report and a copy of the audited accounts of the fund and the annual statement of account in such manner as the minister may direct. In addition to NSSF Act, the fund is supervised by the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. UBRA is mandated under Section 5(1)(e) to protect the interest of members of retirement benefit schemes, including the promotion of transparency and accountability. The fund is required to take investment decisions in accordance with the fund's internal investment policy and the UBRA investment guidelines. Committee observes that allegations in regard to the investment portfolio of the fund had been effectively handled by the Select Committee on the NSSF, whose report was adopted by the Parliament. Recommendations, Madam Speaker. The committee makes the following recommendations. Number 1, that Ministry of Gender should fast track the post-legislative scrutiny on the NSSF Act, amended 2022, given that the 31,145 savers who have so far benefited from the midterm access is still a low number compared to the initial projection and that was presented to and they should
Eddie, stop disrupting my minister.
Number 2, the Ministry of Gender and members of Parliament representing workers should undertake to propose possible amendments to the NSSF Amendment Act 2022. 3, Ministry of Gender should provide quarterly reports on the access to midterm benefits to Parliament. 4, Ministry of Gender should expand and sensitize the public to create awareness on the eligibility and importance of midterm access benefits. 5, the fund should sensitize its members and public about its whistleblowers policy. 6, the fund should avail periodical statements of contributions to its members. 7, the fund should formulate a proper complaint mechanism to enable aggrieved members to seek advice, review, justice, and assistance in accessing any benefits accruing to them under the law. Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Finance, and NSSF should fast track and implement the resolutions of Parliament in the report of the Select Committee on NSSF and provide an action taken report to Parliament. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the petitioner raises pertinent issues in regard to savings, welfare, and the social protection of workers. It is therefore prudent that possible amendments to the NSSF Amendment Act 2022 and policy measures be considered to bridge the existing gaps in the protection of workers in Uganda. The NSSF management should enhance the communication strategy of the fund for the benefit of contributors or savers and the public at large. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I thank you for the kind listening and I beg to move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair of Gender. Honorable members, you've heard a report. It was a petition arising out of Rule 30, where the member had issues to raise in regard to the regulation or the law that we made. We can now open the debate. Yes, Honorable Nakut, Propua, Milton. Where have you been? Aching. You first, let's start with Nakut, then we will come back to you. You have issues to answer.
Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank the committee for doing a great job. I have one proposal that we delete recommendation number 6, requiring NSF to provide periodical statements to members. The reason I wish we delete, because NSF already does that even on a daily. We have an app. I am a voluntary contributor. I have an app. I can see my contributions on a daily. So requiring more periodical statements, we'll be asking for what NSF is already doing. That's my proposal.
Thank you. I wish all of you to be brief like Faith.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I have 2 issues. It seems the petitioner, according to me, and the finding of the committee, did not understand the avenue of accessing his contribution.
Right.
And therefore, in his petition, he thought they were denying him access to midterm access. For me, I want the committee to tell us in their findings whether they have found a number of such cases who are out of employment and they want to access their savings, and how many of these, that number was not mentioned. And to us, I think it is very, very important, and to the public, such that they get to know that when I save and I'm out of job, I have an avenue of how I can access these funds. Then the other issue that I want the committee to tell us about is the investment. It is true, the law provides that the board can do an investment. In your assessment, the money where it has been invested, are they making business sense? Are they making profits? Because I expected that to come out of your, because if somebody is saying, our funds are being invested in businesses which are making losses, then prove them wrong when you do the investigation and bring it to the House and say, no, NSSF has a series of investments. This is making so much profits, there are no losses. And it convinces also the public, seeing us here, to say, no, I think Parliament is up to the task to make sure that our savings are saved or are safe. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, when you look at the report, the number of savers who have actually benefited from the midterm access currently stands at 31,145, which amounts to 75% of the initial projection by NSSF, which is 41,174. This implies that all the eligible beneficiaries are getting the midterm access. And when you look at the issue of investment, in my own observation, some of these matters should have been raised by the petition, especially in regard to eligibility and investment decisions. In the information, it's basically about information gap. There is a desk that should have handled that. I don't think Parliament should really go into all these kind of things. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank the chair of the committee for the report. But Madam Chair, I have an observation that after the thorough investigation and the report that we debated exhaustively here, whereas it was done in good faith and to better the management of the fund, the management seems to be a little intimidated on implementing.
Chair, can you listen? Henry, stop over engaging the chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was saying the management of the fund seems to be somehow intimidated on implementing some of the recommendations or the decision they are supposed to be making. Why am I saying this? Madam Speaker, I have a voter. I think he should also be a petition of some sort. Why? He's been out of employment for 10 years, but he has moved several to Jinja Regional Office, to headquarters here, to no avail. He has failed to access help. The children out of school, he's being thrown out of the house where he's residing, and is sick, seriously sick. But he has tried to reach out to the concerned officials. They have kept telling him, according to the current law, we cannot help you. Now I don't know if this man dies, whether the fund will be benefiting him in the grave or what. So I thought the management should be encouraged that, yes, whereas we recommended better management of the fund, you should not deprive people who are virtually doing bad law, who need this help to benefit from their fund that they worked for. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Achen.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me thank Right Honorable Speaker. I'm looking at Honorable Edie, looking curiously because you asked me a question. Allow me answer.
No, I was joking. Edie, stop looking at.
Thank you very much for your protection, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the chair of the committee and the members of the committee for this report. As part of the team that contributed and served with NSSF, not just to share my experience, but from what my voters on the ground also share, I want to agree that indeed there is a lot of back and forth communication, and the process of accessing the money is quite lengthy. I had that experience. I've had quite a number who have also shared a similar experience. And I want to agree with the committee recommendation, especially the one on requiring quarterly report from NSSF, especially on midterm access. But I would also request the committee to add that report to consider broadening it to cover all other process of accessing funds, not just midterm, but for those who have already retired, and then those who have, for example, joined government or joined UN, who are no longer contributing to the fund. The experience that we get from the ground is not very good. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Presidential.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to thank the committee for this very good report. I have one observation, Right Honorable Speaker, based on the current economic status in which we are. Many people have not recovered. Things are too difficult. I have a person who called me yesterday from Germany, intending to commit suicide. Because
when you want to commit suicide, you announce.
Yes. Yes, because the person had locked herself, and the neighbors rescued her. Why? She got a loan, wanted to repay, but there was no money for repaying, and the case has been registered to police. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, I am of the view that we should, in the next legislation, review the condition of 50 years. Many people are in abject poverty. They have even primary needs. Even we parliamentarians, though we say we are under pressure, we have pressure, the demands are too high. So I am proposing in the next review, let us review the 50 years. Let us also ensure the processes are considerate on individual conditions, because people want to use their money because they don't have any alternatives apart from what they have saved. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. The next review that we will have will be informed by the proper post-legislative studies. We are going to understand how this legislation that we made is impacting on the community and how best we should make an amendment to fit the situation at hand. Yes, Mayuge. Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers of Bufulubi Primary School from Mayuge District. They are represented in the Parliament by Honorable Nakadama Lukia Isanga, the whole Prime Minister, and Honorable Bajire Agre, Honorable Isavire Idi, Honorable Kubeketereya. Thank you so much for giving. Please stand up and we see you. Very good people from Mayuge. You see your members. Members, you stand and see your these are very good members of yours. And Isabella, you finish, then we will ask the Prime Minister to welcome her members.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for the report. But, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we don't want to kill the spirit in which we just amended this bill. Honorable Speaker, the reason as to why we amended the bill is to enable savers at least to access their funds within the limits of 20%. But such administrative issues may arise. But I want to appeal to honorable members here that we have issues from our voters because they are the ones who save. But at least some of these issues should not be always be tabled in Parliament. They should be handled administratively because if the body cannot really handle a bill that we have just amended, and then it comes, we shall have so many petitions, right, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much, the chairperson, for the good report. But this is a caution to us as members of parliament, because people keep on coming to us, and we shouldn't really come here to present issues that are administrative. Thank you so much.
Honorable members, when you hear what Honorable Idi is saying, one of our roles is to do oversight. We have a sectoral committee to that effect. We have the board of NSSF. I think we need to strengthen on our oversight to make sure that the board is doing what is expected of them. And then where we'll also get reports that we are required to get as parliament. But this day-to-day operation should be handled at the fund. Yes, Honorable Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the chair for the good report. And initially, I thought we just should adopt the report. But for me, what comes out very clearly, Madam Speaker, is information gap. Because what went out about midterm access excited people. But they didn't know that there would be a regulation put in place to ensure that in that access, it has to be like this, like that. So for me, at that point of the regulation is what could have been missing now to our people out there. Because I can tell you, like a joke, we did something similar for us members of parliament here. But the regulation, for instance, barred me. Because for me, when we were discussing it, I was very happy that eventually I'm going to get part of mine. I even walked down there, only to be told that you must have been a member of parliament for 10 straight years. This is my 7th.
It even reduced on your take. Eh? It's even reduced on your salary, on your what goes to your account. So exactly the issue of information gap. People lack information. The expectation is so high because of the poverty levels. You see the poor people here want money, but because they don't have information.
So, Madam Speaker, that is the summary, the good summary you have made. So let us go out and help our people. I don't know if the report to us here will help people out there to know what they are supposed to expect. But for me, I agree with my sister Faith that the report to us may not be that meaningful. The most important is to make sure that the savers get the information. Whether through parliament, I doubt if that will be effective.
The report is meaningful because it tells us what we should do in the next legislation. It also tells us what is expected of us. It is me and you who are supposed to tell the people out there what they expect. We will not leave it to the minister alone. Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to welcome our people from Mayuge in Ibufulubi. Ibufulubi is one of our good places. That school is one of our good schools. It's not very old, but they are doing well. And the moment that they are here in Parliament, I know when they go back, they are going to add on to what they've been doing. I think they might be the best in the whole Mayuge and then in the whole country. Thank you so much for coming to visit our Parliament.
Thank you so much. In the public gallery still this afternoon, we have church members from St. Mark, Lukolo Parish, Busoga Diocese, Jinja District, led by Reverend Michael Chakulaga. You're most welcome. Welcome to Parliament of Uganda. This is a God-fearing parliament. And that's why you see that we get more of you. They are represented. Aga, you stand up and they see you. Represented by Honorable Aga, Honorable Marjorie, you're most welcome. And keep praying for us as Parliament. Margaret, Doctor. Then we hear from the Minister.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chairperson for the report, but mostly I want to thank the petitioner. This is an eye-opener, and I want to speak on behalf of the widows outside there who are suffering with the NSSF money of their late spouses. First of all, it is a very terrible experience to secure letters of administration for this widow in the first place. In addition, after
just a reminder that it's not NSSF that gives letters of administration.
Yeah, I'm coming to that, Right Honorable Speaker. After securing the letters of administration, now you come back to tussle with the NSSF fund. Most widows, their children cannot go back to school, yet the money that their spouses worked so hard to save is seated in the fund. I want to request everyone here to ensure that what the report is requiring us to do, we do it, so that people are able to access that hard-earned and saved money so that it can save our people in this country. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ayome. Then Finance.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mine is more of caution. I am a bit worried that our life expectancy keeps on increasing, and I think we're at 64. I think in the next 10, 15 years, we should be at 75 or 80. Midterm access, we need to approach it with a lot of caution. I'm of the opinion, and there are other avenues in which government can think of bailing out citizens in the midst of this financial stress. Can we recapitalize some of our commercial banks, bring down the interest rates so that people are able to access even the microfinance institutions? Because if we keep on taking the midterm access below 50 years, 40, 45 years, and so forth, I think we shall be defeating the spirit in which social security is supposed to be and come into play in the later years of our life. So let's please approach this with a lot of caution. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's a very good idea that we could actually capitalize the SMEs for us to be able to, for people to be able to have businesses. Yes, finance, there was a developmental aspect, investment aspect, then we shall have.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I come into this debate with the context of having gone through what the concerned members are raising from 2012 up to 2021. Madam Speaker, I know as representatives of the people, we feel concerned when they are experiencing difficulties. I, however, Madam Speaker, have this opinion. Why we established NSSF was to look for an avenue of making people happy when they are no longer working. The underlying principle was not to make people save today and use it tomorrow when they get COVID or something. So, therefore, Madam Speaker, it is important that when we are debating this issue, we don't forget the underlying objective of why this NSSF was set up. On the economy side and on the investment side, the NSSF funds are invested in 3 asset classes. We have the fixed income, we have the equities, and the real estate. Madam Speaker, to date, our investment portfolio is 18.5 trillion, which is invested in these 3 asset classes. Our interest here, I know Professor Mshemeza is listening to me attentively. This money is helping the economy to provide long-term funds for investment. Yes, we want mid-term access according to the law, which the minister will talk about. But me, from the financing side, I am very happy when very few people are coming to take mid-term access, because I need this money to keep building a strong economic base. Therefore, Madam Speaker, let me invite colleagues that we look for avenues of building our SMEs to provide short-term sources of mitigating the shocks which come. But at the same time, we should not forget to think about what Dr. Ayume has talked about. The life expectancy is going high, and we don't want a population whereby someone was, for instance, someone was a commissioner in government or an MD in a parastatal, and when you meet him at the age of 70, he's on the street begging. I really want to invite colleagues to think about this and support the idea of long-term saving through pension funds. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Much as we talk about the long-term investment, we passed a law of midterm. So you should be able to match the midterm access vis-a-vis the investment. And that's what happens in a bank. If you only have saving accounts, you cannot give out a loan for a longer period of time. But if you have a fixed deposit account, then you can give a loan for, say, 2 years if the fixed deposit is like 5 years. So you need to see how you can match and manage it. Professor said, don't use frustration.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you and the committee for the report and agree with the findings and the recommendations of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker, the biggest contest is on the word contribution vis-a-vis savings. When the law was passed, everybody who is saving with NSSF and had reached 45 years thought they would be able to access the money. The context is that there are people who are in a job, the employers contributes for you, you lose a job, then maybe a gap of 5 months, you get another job and start contributing. You've reached 45 years, but cumulatively, your contribution does not reach 120 months, which is in the law. Because the law says you must have contributed for 10 years, contributed consecutively. So if you have lost a job, even if you have been saving for 10 years, but that 10 years is not consistent, you cannot access. And I think the honorable member who talked about the regulation for the pension of Parliament got it well. And Parliament got it well. And they came and did a study the Parliamentary Pension Scheme, came and did a study with NSSF. So this is the biggest contention. And I think those who have reached 45 years in the case of normal people and 50 years in the case of persons with disability, there are those, maybe very many, who are falling between or under the category of people who have not contributed consistently for 120 months. So that's where the problem is. That's the only contention. There has been so much petition with me, with the fund, to amend. I consulted the Attorney General, and the Attorney General had indicated that if we want to analyze the impact, or if we want to maybe take care of this category of people, we go back to cabinet and replace the word contribution with saving. That is when you will be able to bring the petitioner and others on board. So that is where we are.
Honorable Minister, don't make amendments so early. Just give people information. There's lack of information outside there. Tell them what it is, what is expected of them, and what is expected of the board.
So I wanted Parliament to know where the contention is, because your people will still continue to ask you, why am I not? I'm 45 years. I have saved for 10 years. So please tell them the difference is between the law which talks of contributed consistently. And the reason why we have not come back is because of the same issue you're raising. We felt that let us first implement this law. We see how many. And by the way, members, I am glad to notify you that many people are not applying for midterm. Even those who have reached 55 years, retirement age, who would have wanted to exit, which is a lawful exit, they are instead transforming their saving into voluntary contribution. So I am glad that majority of Ugandans out there understand that this saving with NSSF is for pension, for retirement, and people are now saying they work more. If they get out of the public service, they go into private. Those who are in private, they continue to work. People are accessing it at 65, at 70. But even with voluntary saving, I want to thank Parliament. People are now more and more leaving their money, because people work for you, you get your interest, and it is automatically credited. Let me finish, then I will get the clarification. The second issue raised was how to exit, and the fact that there are people who join public service, exiting becomes a problem. Join UN, exiting becomes a problem. They want to remove their money. The law says if you want to exit and you are going into public service, the law is there. It provides for how you exit and how we pay you. If you join UN, you must confirm to NSSF that you have an alternative social security with the UN. But many people are come to me when they don't have the social security with the UN or another entity where they are, and they want to exit. The law is very clear. Bring evidence that you have an alternative social security in that entity, then we process for you. The other issue is processes, and I want to, Right Honorable Speaker, the processes of accessing is quite administrative issue, which I'm going to work with NSSF to address, but most of the application is actually online. So I do not know what the issue is. Most of the people who go back and forth are people who do not upload their documents properly. Secondly, there are people who would have been among those who have saved, not contributed for 120. So what I agree with you is clarity to the population, awareness and information on the criteria, on the issue of the law, whether you're eligible or not. That is where I agree with members that we need more awareness and information. The issue of widows, there are many people who have come to me, but Right Honorable, sometimes there are family issues. Then there is the will. Now you can be a widow. Then the person has willed the Social Security to a son, to a daughter, to another person, but this widow is coming and insisting, give me my husband's Social Security. The law ties me. I will not be able to give you if the will is saying something else. So there are many issues that are under play before we give you the money. You must have all the legal documents for us to give you the money. And in most cases, in family matters, there are so many dynamics, and the widow will think it's automatic for her to access the money for the late husband. But the late husband would have given a different will. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
Thank you,
Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. The clarification I'm seeking thank you, the committee, for your wonderful report. I'm a saver myself with NSSF, but I'm asking for, my sister was raising an issue with widows. Honorable Minister, where do we put this regulation for our employees, young employees who have come to us? Maybe she or he has lost a job. For one job she has lost, especially after COVID, people lost jobs a lot. I'm one employer myself. And people lose jobs, get another job. Maybe she wants to go back to school, relocate to some other place. That startup capital of the little money she saved in NSSF, many of them were looking up to it. Many of them are unemployed right now. I appreciate what the Minister of Finance said, that government, we need that money and to save our people, but they are jobless.
What does the law say about somebody who is still within the age of, say, 30? You've shifted from one job to the other?
Maybe the person has actually lost a job, Right Honorable Prime Speaker. I want that clarification from the Minister. It's a big hassle for these people.
I need you to look at the law, not just putting empathy. That because you have lost a job and that kind of thing, it should be matched with what the law requires of you. Chema Sweat.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the chairperson of the committee. I would like
now,
to give...
you guys who are coming from out, don't come and make noise for us. Maimuko Nzima. You're disturbing faith.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to allay the fears of the Minister of Finance, Honorable Msasizi, on the question of the economics.
Kala, there is a space. You extend for Kala. Extend. She needs more air.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to allay the fears of the Minister of Finance in regard to the economics. And I would like to give some advice on the repos, repurchase financing, or repurchase agreements. Repurchase agreements about the trading in treasury bills and bonds by government. And of course, government has tried so much to do the reverse financing through PDM, of which the money is now back to the people. I would wish that through the midterm, augmented by PDM, the government would have looked at the amounts of money that would be reversed to the people of Uganda in order to deal with the economic part of it. And this is quite important, that you have to look at the repurchase agreements, look at the reverse financing, and of course, you will have the solution of the midterm financing. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, I hope you have got what it means. Huh?
Clarification.
Propua.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. Both of us, I think now we owe responsibility to these people who run to us. I want the Honorable Minister to tell us whether when these people run to her, do they receive feedback? Because the biggest problem we have had, most of the complaints are channeled online. I don't know whether there is another form of communication that is sent to them explaining an avenue. Because according to what the chairperson was explaining, the law provides that if you are out of employment for a year, there would be a way you can access. And I think this petitioner falls in that category, not in mid-term. Not in mid-term. And this feedback, the Honorable Minister who is managing the fund, because it is a very big issue, that mechanism, you need to assure us whether it is there, and if it is there, whether it has been done to these petitioners.
Clarification.
Thank you. Honorable members, one thing that you need to appreciate is the social security money cannot be treated as a startup capital. It is a safety fund for the later years as you save. And of course, you get as you save. The startup capital, when I was talking economics, is the cost of the capital that you're going to invest in that business, initial capital. And when you look at this, it requires completely different approach, like what you talked about, the PDM, where you're taking money direct to the end users. That is for PDM, but it is not for the social security fund. Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of those who have lost job, the law is very clear. There are eligibility criteria, which is medical and others that you can get at any time when you prove. Then the issue of losing job is not part of the legal framework where you can access. Outside the other eligibility criteria, which is medical and others, is only the midterm access. And when you now reach 55 years, then you can access. On when they petition, do you give feedback? Yes, we do give feedback. Beyond the online, we have automated SMS. When you apply, we also request you to put emails. If you have, we also send emails for you to know. Then we have telephone calls where if you want detailed information, you are then the SMS you to call so that you are explained more better. And also we have the whistleblower platform. So those are the areas through which we engage with those with the petition. And after the midterm access application, we had so many people who had the mistaken contribution to saving. It was this framework we used that calmed actually over 10,000 people who had applied and were not eligible according to the word contribution. And majority of the people understood and they left and they are waiting for the right legal framework. So yes, we have been notifying them, we have been creating awareness, but I think a petition like this could maybe have wanted, I think the intention was to look at how the category of these people should benefit. That's what I look at him, because everybody is told when you are not eligible. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I think those were the other issues. The issue of Chairman Sweat was for the Minister of Finance.
Honorable members, I now put a question that the report of the Committee on Gender, Labor and Social Development on the petition of the midterm access of NSSF benefits be adopted by this Honorable House with amendments. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister and Honorable Chair. I will instruct the clerk to extract the resolutions of this House and forward it over to you for an appropriate action. Abe, members of matters of national importance.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise up to raise a very painful matter that is affecting my constituency and the neighboring constituencies, neighboring the parks, the game parks. Right Honorable Speaker, as I speak to you now, the people in Kitgum, particularly Orom, Namukora, Kiteng sub-county, are in the run because of elephants invasion. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know what happened, what is chasing these elephants from the parks. Over 100 elephants have invaded these areas and they're destroying everything. I'm even afraid that these members who benefited from the Parish Development Model Fund, who invested in agriculture, will be tasked to pay and when they don't have the money. Right Honorable Speaker, I know that animals are not more important than human beings. We have raised this matter on the floor and no action seems to be taking place. We cannot keep advocating for tourism when our people are losing lives, our people are losing food, our people's houses are being distracted. Right Honorable Speaker, my prayers. Number one, I would request the minister to pay a visit to these communities and talk to them. As area members of parliament, we have raised this matter, we have had meetings, and we have nothing else to tell them. Let the minister himself come on ground and meet the community. Two, we request for food reliefs, but this time not on a 1 truck or 2 trucks, at least food reliefs that can take these communities for a certain period of time. Lastly, Honorable Minister, I have pictures of houses that these elephants have destroyed. I think it's now in order that the Office of the Prime Minister provides these iron sheets. So they have iron sheets roofed houses. No longer those elephants are they're not easy to manage. You see a picture of elephant destroying over, like the way you used to be during Konyi, where you find houses have been burnt down and only bricks remaining. Right Honorable Speaker, I really pray and ask for indulgence in this matter. It's a very painful matter. Our women are running away from home. They have nothing to eat. And you know what Northern Uganda has gone through. If we can't talk about this peace, we must feel the peace. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Prime Minister, the issue of wild animals living together with the human beings is a very bad thing. Please, the floor is yours.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is really bad that our people are living with the animals. I'm going to direct the Minister of Tourism to go on ground and see exactly what has happened so that a solution, a lasting solution can be found. And then the people who need some relief food items, I request my colleague Honorable Abel through the District Disaster Committee to write to the ministry so that food can be taken and then iron sheets for those houses that have been destroyed. I thank you.
When do we have the minister go there? When do we have the minister go on at Locust?
Right Honorable.
Okay, when do we get a feedback from the minister?
Maybe next week.
So we are giving you 1 week.
Thank you.
Appeal. Appeal.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on a matter of national importance, Right Honorable Speaker. Government through the National Waters and Sewage Corporation is currently laying infrastructure as part of the implementation for the water supply and sanitation project to Gulu City and small towns en route. Madam Speaker, the small towns en route component includes 3 districts: Gulu District, Omoro District, and Oyam District. And this very huge project that is being funded by the World Bank and the KfW Bank is drawing its water from a place called Nora in Oyam District. And Oyam is going to be hosting up to 40 kilometers of the waterworks, which translates, Madam Speaker, to approximately 60% of the entire length of the waterworks to Gulu City. Oyam is very happy for Gulu and the districts in between, the 2 districts in between. But to our utter shock and disbelief, Madam Speaker and honorable members, Oyam has been left out of the entire scheme. Not a single drop of water, Madam Speaker.
When is the hosting district?
Oyam, yes.
Yes.
Oyam is the hosting district. We have critical infrastructures, critical facilities like Atapara Hospital, which is under 5 kilometers as the crow flies from the main waterworks. Not a single drop, Madam Speaker, not a single drop to the district headquarters, which is nearer to the waterworks, the main waterworks, compared to other districts that are going to be having.
So the water is just going to pass Oyam and it goes to Gulu.
Correct, Madam Speaker. Correct, Madam Speaker. My and Oyam's request through you, Madam Speaker, to the Honorable Prime Minister are 2. 1, would like to invite her to clarify, or the Honorable Prime Minister to clarify if this injustice, if this inequality of denying a critical resource that is drawn from Oyam district and passes through the entire length of 40 kilometers isn't an unprecedented, an unprecedented injustice, an unprecedented inequality. But 2, would like to request the Prime Minister to agree
But then one thing I'm aware of, that all the towns along where the pipes are passing, towns benefit. Unless you're talking about a certain village of mine, instead of Bukit, they are deep down there. That's a different case. But all towns along the main road do benefit.
I would like to add a bit of information on that, Madam Speaker. We've had a conversation with the National Waters and Sewage Corporation, and they clarified that they're going to be setting a 10,000 liter tank in on 2 locations. One will be at Kamdini, and the other one will be at Minakulu. But these
Is Kamdini benefiting?
No, because these 2 water tanks will simply serve as yes, it's going to serve as a processing point for the water going to be flowing through the Oyam to the rest of the districts, And so we are asking for the Honorable Prime Minister to agree, together with her line minister and the project team, to sit with me and the district leadership to thresh out this unfortunate problem.
Honorable members, one thing, I need a confirmation. Honorable Obua, can you give us information to that effect? Because when you look at my area, all the towns along where the pipes are passing are benefiting. But again, when you go deep to my village down there, it doesn't benefit. Please, let's hear from.
All the main towns benefit.
All the main towns benefit. Stop arguing on what you don't know.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, to the best of my recollection, what was submitted in cabinet is not far from what you stated, to the effect that all the major townships along, for instance, in this case, Kamdini is a beneficiary. Minakulu is a beneficiary. Then even some townships in Omoro district before you reach Gulu are beneficiaries. What I strongly believe the people in Oyam, because our constituency is Oyam North, which is not along the major highway. Even Oyam district headquarters is not along the major highway. It appears their intention is there should be some, what we call in electricity, T-off to Oyam district headquarters, including Oyam Town Council, which falls now outside the presence of the project.
Information.
What we do, Honorable Minister, get that information and report back to the House on what the member is raising and how best it can be handled. Get that information. Jacob.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance involving ranch number 11 in Kiriandongo district, where unidentified people are gaining entry. They want vacant possession, but using very serious force of arm influence. We are told somehow they are being influenced or backed up by General Taban. And actually the people who were intended to be resettled there are languishing, are being punished, are being terrorized, some of them being arrested, and even others have died. We can provide that information if we are given time. Honorable Ngompek is here, Honorable Kaunde is there. Our request is, now that Ministry of Lands raised money through Ministry of Finance to resettle the two communities, that is the Nubian community who were terrorized in the northeastern insurgency, and the Kiriama people who were chased from the Karuma Wildlife Reserve areas, be resettled as soon as practicable, because the money is already there and it is on the district account, 100 million shillings to start with. We cannot afford to see our people being pushed up and down and being terrorized like that, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Linus, can you clarify, because that's your constituency?
Thank you, Right Honorable. It's a fact that General Taban Amin has deployed soldiers.
Can you say somebody you're not aware? I don't want names.
Okay. Let me leave that. But Ugandan Lands Commission, it's alleged that it awarded this land to a private company. And the processes that they went through by awarding this land or this government ranch to that company, they did not go through the right procedure. So we are trying to have a contestation over that. And the big man whom you don't want me to mention does not allow even the district leadership to go to the ranch.
You know why I don't want you to mention names here?
Yes, yes.
Because those persons are not in the house to defend themselves.
But this person also claims that he only listens to the president, and other people he does not listen to them. We've reported this matter to all authorities, but really
he's coming to the house for the first time.
No, yeah, to the house, yes, but we've reported this matter to authorities, and they are intimidated by him.
So the authority of Parliament is receiving for the first time.
So we are praying.
So Madam Prime Minister, can we have that handled? There is nobody who is above the law.
Yes.
Because we cannot make one person make other people suffer. Okay?
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Kiriandongo has a lot of land-related contradictions and conflicts. My colleague, Honorable Karuvang Jacob Baten, raised the matter concerning Ranch 11, and whatever he said, Madam Speaker, is true. I'm not going, and Honorable Linus, whatever is submitted is true. I'm not going to address myself on that. Mine is yet on another ranch. It's ranch 22, but also within Kiriandongo district, Kiriandongo sub-county, and Kitwara parish, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, there is a contestation on the ownership on ranch 22, and there is also forceful eviction taking place on the same ranch by use of security personnel with guns. As I talk now, one person has died and several others are seriously injured, and they are in various health centers within the district. Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that the Minister of Security, together with Internal Affairs, sends their team and thoroughly assess the situation, and also assure the locals that there will be no more attacks and such shootings at the local community. I also pray that the Minister of Land urgently holds further evictions on that same ranch until the contestation has been addressed. I also pray that the Minister of Land personally visits the place, or better still, sends a team to conduct a detailed investigation and establish a lasting solution to the above conflict. Madam Speaker, I pray.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. You're repeating on the same.
I want to call Honorable Minister of Internal Affairs, because this is an issue involving security. So I'll call the Honorable Minister for Internal Affairs to come and respond.
And security is about protection of lives and property of persons. We want to stop the killings.
Right Honorable Speaker, through my leader, we shall consult with lands and converge in the locus and then see how to get a comprehensive solution.
Maybe what you need to do as immediate, since you say there is some people are being killed now, maybe you need to find out and see what is the situation on ground.
Much obliged, right?
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes. After that, Emma.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, this looks to be a persistent problem of where the army and the police are being used against our people, and in the process they kill them without court orders. They evict. This happened in my constituency, where one Rebecca Masika was killed, and this matter is in the committee. So the procedure I want to raise, who these people who are in charge of the army, how are these people running out of the barracks and we find them on our pieces of land, terrorizing people?
Have you confirmed that they are the army, they are police? There are so many Ugandans.
With a lot of evidence. They come in civilian clothes. Recently, I went to Ndaiga. They were fencing, they were helping a rich man to fence off one of the land of our people. When they saw me,
Honorable,
they took off.
Honorable Tinker, the issue you're raising is before the committee. You want to start discussing what is in the committee on the floor. Everybody knows that matter of yours and is before the committee. So don't do that. We will discuss when it comes. Let me first have Emma, Dr. Yume, then yes.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Madam Speaker. I rise on a point of insecurity. Insecurity, when you look at Quen is divided into two parts. The lower part of Quen is much affected by insecurity, by my friends, our neighbors. I don't want to mention them. You know them. You know them. So you find out that my people from Soy County, particularly Kirigi sub-county, Ngenge sub-county, they have sleepless nights. Our brothers, the Karamojongs, always attack us day and night. Even in as far as a right to have children has been denied to them. Because when they are sleeping at night, these raiders are coming. So in brief, they are busy disorganizing the peace.
Honorable members, please listen. Honorable members, why don't these rustlers leave the Sabines to produce more athletes? More athletes. Anyway, the issue is we may not be sure whether they are Karamojong, whether they are cattle rustlers. Because anybody can be, I mean, like our place, they come. You cannot know unless you're part of them to determine that, yes, this one is a Karamojong. The cattle rustlers are there. Madam General, the issue of the rustlers. You're depriving us from producing.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I take the concern of the member and I'll relay the same to the Minister of Defense for the necessary intervention.
And kind of get all the information from the whole of Sebei region.
Right, Honorable.
Sebei region, even Chemutai is there, it is on the same thing. Get all, Solomon is also there. Get all the information from that region. The tallest man in the house is also there. The whole of Sabine, the Sabine team, please, with the Toroma, get information to General and then you will give it to the responsible office.
Thank you.
And then they will report to this house on the action they have taken. Personally, we also have that problem. They stole my cows.
Madam Speaker, I had talked of insecurity in two places. The lower part of Sebei, that is Kwen, even in Tingay, the lower part, and also Bukwo, Kortek. The insecurity from our neighbors is not good. And then when you come to the upper part, that is Bennett, there is a very unhealthy relationship between the Ua Rangers, the park rangers, and the community. There is a lot of shooting day and night, even without proof that someone was entering with the animals into the forest. We have lost a lot of lives. So it's my humble prayers.
That's okay. Please handle it. Honorable members, I don't want you to wait for things to get worse, then bring them to the house. We have a very good commander, Don Nabasa. He's doing a very good job there. I wish you could really keep in touch with him. If you want his phone number, I'll give it to you. He's doing a good job. Don is doing a good job. That one, I can attest to that. Dr. Yume, then Laura.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in August 2022, this Parliament approved a loan for the construction of Uganda Heart Institute in Nakuru under your stewardship. And His Excellency has given 10 acres of land. Right Honorable Speaker, in the same neighborhood, China-Uganda Friendship Nakuru Hospital is going to be upgraded to the National Trauma Center. So I think you can envisage the number of emergency vehicles that will be descending in that locality. And then you have the Ministry of Justice building up a superstructure. You have police headquarters. So Right Honorable Speaker, Nakuru Road Naguru Avenue, and Katalima Road are colonial single carriage roads. Last year, I wrote to the Minister of KCCA and brought this to his attention that these projects are coming. With all those emergency vehicles, we're going to get a spillover of traffic like it is right now. And it's 1 year down the road. I've not gotten any response. I seek the intervention of this House to prevail so that those roads can be made into dual carriages in anticipation. And for the first time, Right Honorable Speaker, we can have an ambulance lane like it is in the modern world, so that all the ambulances that are running to the Uganda Heart Institute and to the National Trauma Center have the right of way. Those are my prayers, Right Honorable Speaker.
Government.
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member for the concern. It will be taken to the Ministry of Kampala so that they can implement what is being requested, especially that dual carriage, because I know it is very important. And you know, we have a hospital there whereby we need it. So Minister of Kampala is going to be directed to see how it can expand, because right now they are doing some maintenance.
You see, when you talk about expansion, when you look at that road, they've actually encroached up the road reserve. I don't know whether you've passed that road. They've encroached up to the road reserve, and then now you're wondering how is the expansion going to be when the road reserve has already been built on. So I think we need that really handled. It's a very serious matter. We have a hospital there, we have police there, we have the Heart Institute coming up there. We need KCCA to come up and tell us what is the way forward. How do we handle that? Yes, Laura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, there's a procedure matter.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Dr. Yuma has raised a very serious issue. And Right Honorable Speaker, on most occasions, we find ourselves failing in some areas when some agencies or ministries say we didn't budget for it. We are lucky we are now in the budget period. Right Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedurally right? You pick interest in this thing and invite the concerned ministers, and you hold a small discussion and you agree before we enter the budget cycle, right?
Maybe we need to visit the area first, Dr. Yume. Organize and we go there and we first visit the area before we talk. So you can organize next week and we go there.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am seeking guidance. On Tuesday, you intimated that today would have a debate regarding land. And I noticed that most of the members, especially from Kiriandongo, were talking about security issues, but I think the root cause is land wrangles. Madam Speaker, I want your guidance on the same when we are going to have that debate, because I see a situation. This morning, the people in Mbale told me people came and start fighting them, the people with disabilities who have land wrangles. Madam Speaker, I want your guidance on the same on when we shall have the debate regarding land. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister of Gender, there was a complaint on this house that the land belonging to disabilities, to women, to everybody is being sold and being sold by the ministry. And we wanted to have this discussion when the Minister of Lands and the Minister of Gender are all here. So can we fix that for a Tuesday? Government, can we fix that for a Tuesday?
Right Honorable Speaker, the land belonging to Ministry of Gender and the institutions under Ministry of Gender are throughout the country. There are many that have been encroached on. There are many that has been allocated by Uganda Land Commission. And there are those that we have some directives. I wrote to you and requested that for us to give a comprehensive response, we have to sit with Uganda Land Commission and they give us the status of all the land throughout the country. And because your directive
it has been laid on table, the status of
all the land by Ministry of Lands.
Yes.
Then I would be okay to come and ask as Ministry of Gender. We can only respond on the basis of the report from Ministry of Gender. Because for us, we don't give land. It is Ministry of Lands that give land. And what I got from the answer, all the lands that are talked about have been given by Ministry of Lands. Some have titles, some we have asked for cancellation. Where we have presidential directive, I will come and answer. Yes.
So there are specific lands that have been talked about. And those are the specific lands that Laura is talking about, not so?
Yes, there's Mbale land, there's Lweza, there's Jinja, there's Rukunjiri, there's Naguru, there's Kabale, there's Ruti. Right, Honorable Speaker, I think we need a real comprehensive report.
So what we also need to get from your office, let's get a stock asset register of the land belonging to entities in your department, in your ministry. Then we'll compare with what lands will bring for us to have a good debate.
Madam Speaker.
Patrick?
Madam Speaker, I want to be helped. Madam Speaker,
But the way you smuggle.
Madam Speaker, I am born on the border of Busia, Uganda and Kenya. Madam Speaker, I want to be helped. I want to be helped. And really, my colleagues, some of you must have been asking yourself this question. I have seen many times people get free titles of land in other parts of the country. How do we, in this era that we have gold in Karamoja, gold in Eastern, and other minerals in other areas, how do our people, majorly the people of Busia, where we have gold, how can they be able, God, to visit them and they also have titles for free, like the ones that the government is giving in other parts of the country?
Now that one get it
Madam
from
Speaker,
the Minister of
I really
Lands.
want you to direct the Prime Minister to help so that I can go with that for today.
Honorable Minister, Prime Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, where we have minerals in Uganda, that land belongs to Ministry of Energy, and they don't give titles, they only give exploration licenses. Thank you. No.
Patrick.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with our magic bullet fired, that is the parish development model, and well aware that 90% of the beneficiaries, for example, in my district of Chankwanzi, they are farmers. I'm concerned, Right Honorable, with the quality of agrochemicals and the inputs. Farmers complain that when they spray the weeds, instead the weeds become more luxuriant. The ticks, when sprayed, they become healthier. And it is my humble prayer that the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, through UNBS, regulates the use of these chemicals. Let us look at issues of certification, standards, and compliance. Of course, in liaison with the Ministry of Agriculture, Right Honorable. I thank you.
Trade.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and members. I appreciate the effort of the member, but this matter is totally an agricultural matter. Most of the issues to do with the certification and all those of chemicals were taken to agriculture. So we shall help to identify the gaps and communicate effectively. Thank you.
So when do you get back to us?
Right Honorable, I'm at the disposal of the House. Next week, I must do that.
Okay, give us a report on that, including the one for cows. Because how do they call it, the parasites are not good and they are killing the cows. Yes.
Most obliged.
David, Carla, this.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on several occasions, we have been raising issue of security. And at the same time, you are fully aware that the belt of northern Uganda has been going through lots of difficulty as a result of the cattle raids. And we have been asking on the issue of security road several times. In 2 months, Madam Speaker, we are surprised the grader that was taken to begin the work was taken away again. And we are wondering what could be the problem. Why is it the ministry, after taking the grader to begin the work, they again shift the grader to another place? So we wanted to find out what could be the problem, because Madam Speaker, we don't need to wait for the issue for incident to occur first and then government begin to respond.
Who took the grader?
We were told the government took the grader away.
What is government? Government is you.
We were told the ministry of work took the
And
grader away.
did you try to follow up?
Yeah,
with
we followed up, even talked to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister told me the grader was taken away for some work. And we're wondering what is the priority? Because you know, issue of security in our area is bringing a lot of difficulties and poverty. And we want the government to respond and help our local people for peace to be restored. At least at the moment now, we are very grateful with the work of the UPDF. The UPDF are doing a lot of work. The rates of raid at least has reduced. Though we still have the issue of the elephant and the buffalo are also disturbing the people.
Yeah, that has been addressed.
So we are appealing to the government to respond quickly. Madam Speaker, this is a problem. Through you, Madam Speaker, we are requesting kindly let our people be helped.
The equipment is meant for which district?
The equipment was taken to begin work in Agago and Kitgum.
For which district?
For opening the security road. The equipment equipment is from the Ministry of Work.
And is opening the roads for works.
Open the road for security. Security road in Agago district and Kitgum.
Okay.
Yes, so equipment was taken away from the district to another district.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, the Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, what Honorable David again is saying is true. Remember when the insecurity
I don't know what they said it was not true.
No. I'm trying to build on. There was security road that has been approved to work on. And Minister of Works, including the Office of the Prime Minister, called us for a meeting to the extent that even the roads that we are talking about has been planned for, and there was some money earmarked for it. The grader went up to Agago, into the extent that that road was supposed to be open. But to the surprise, the grader and the bulldozer was withdrawn. That's why we are making a concern that Now that security road was one of the roads that has been earmarked, the graders and the bulldozers have been withdrawn. Why wouldn't they allow it to finish the work so that then later they shift to another place, which that place was not even defined? That's the information I want to beep it up on what my colleagues has mentioned. I thank you.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, those people met with the Minister of Works in the Prime Minister's office. So that withdrawing of the grader and the bulldozer, it is a technical program whereby I have to call the Minister of Works to come and explain why the grader and the bulldozer were withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Kala.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Goli, then Eddie.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on the matters of national importance affecting my district. First of all, I want to thank the government of Uganda for constructing for us a first-class tarmac road, that is Tirinyi to Palisa, Palisa to Kumi, Palisa to Kamonkoli. But Right Honorable Speaker, this road has now turned into a death trap for our people. Right Honorable Speaker and members, our road, that highway does not have any humps anywhere. The road is very good. People cruise on it. Most of the ministers pass there. Our MPs from, our uncles from aunties from Karamoja pass there cruising. They don't even stop. But Right Honorable Speaker, I want to bring the attention of the House that our people are dying. We are losing people on a daily basis because the highway lacks humps. On commissioning of that road, by the way, it was commissioned by the Right Honorable Prime Minister. We noticed that the road did not have humps and we foresaw the problem. Right Honorable Speaker, we brought it to the attention of the Prime Minister, and she promised to direct the Minister of Works and Transport to build humps, especially along the trading centers. And also, one of my colleagues here raised the same issue last year. We personally went with my colleagues to the office of the State Minister for Works, and he promised to work on the road. But up to now, Right Honorable Speaker, the road has no humps. People are dying. We are burying people every day. And also, people have got permanent injuries. They are nursing permanent injuries. My prayers, Right Honorable Speaker. Yes,
Honorable Prime Minister, I think what you need to do is to liaise with the works. And indeed, it is a first-class tarmac. And even if you reach a town center, there is no hump at all. You will cruise from Tirinyi up to Soroti. Non-stop. Actually, up to Moroto. Non-stop. There is no hump anywhere. So, and that is a little dangerous.
Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted her to note these points because it happens almost on a daily basis. These trading centers, when you
they will go on ground. Don't worry. Don't stretch yourself.
Most obliged.
They will go on ground.
Thank you, Right
Honorable Goli and then Eddie.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
You guys, you go out, then you come back and shout. You think me, I don't get tired?
Thank you very much. I rise on the issue of maize. as a product. One of my enterprising young men advised me that they have over 2,500 metric tons of maize lying without sale in Dokolo and Lira. They have also advised, and I see that the harvest, we're about to get a bumper harvest. The prices have tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. However, I've been advised that there's a good market in DRC Goma area. And what is happening is that some traders or business persons from a neighboring country are able to come and purchase some of this maize from Lira, but our own persons cannot drive through that country to access the Goma market. I really would request that government sees how best to handle this as EAC, one, and secondly, how best can we use maize other than the normal way we have been using so that the demand can be improved to support the situation which we have.
Thank you. Thank you. The problem with some of our farmers, they buy maize, keep it, expecting for higher prices. And then now, by the time you want to sell, another harvest is coming in and that kind of thing. Let me have Carol, then Eddie.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, my concern is about the ambulances, how they were distributed, how I really wanted to add a voice on my brother. Right Honorable Speaker, they were talking of constituencies. Right Honorable Speaker, we have some districts without ambulances. For example, Ruchiga. I remember last time I raised this issue. I want to appreciate your effort. You even wrote to the Minister of Health requesting for beds and to help Ruchiga. But Right Honorable Speaker, I was surprised when they gave out ambulances and Ruchiga was missing and being on the border. I'm happy the Honorable Minister is here. I've been writing letters and really presenting this issue up to now. Ruchiga, we've not benefited. I really wanted, through you, Right Honorable Speaker, the response from the Honorable Minister. Then the other issue, Right Honorable Speaker, we have a maternity ward, which is almost collapsing. That is Mparo Health Center 4. Considering that we don't have a district hospital, I would request through you, Right Honorable Speaker, again to push and have a maternity ward. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Carol, for raising this pertinent issue. The ambulances were only 116. So definitely there would be a constituency that would miss. But I want to allay your fears and promise you that as funds get available, we are giving every constituency an ambulance. And for Mparo Health Center 3, right? 4, I would like you to come to my office on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and I link you with the people supposed to do the technical people who can help you do whatever you want. I think if it's functional and it's dilapidated or it's a bad state, we do come in handy whenever we have some funds, repair and rehabilitate the health center.
Thank you.
So that it's usable and habitable. Thank you.
Eddie.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I want to appreciate your conduct of the House. I want to raise two issues, which are policy and the foreign policy. Right, Honorable Speaker, in East African community, we have diplomatic representations in all the countries. But some of the countries we have very close ties don't have full diplomatic representation, even when this house has appropriated funds in the in-post positions of ambassador. It is over a year when we lost an ambassador in Kenya, so we have not been having a full diplomatic representation. And we have a very big challenge, how to relate to them. That's one issue that government should take as a priority. Relatedly, the DRC, where my colleague has talked about trade in Goma, but we can't access through Bunagana because we don't have full consulate in Goma and we don't have an ambassador in Kinshasa. They posted an ambassador in Kinshasa, was rejected. And the government of DRC has never posted an ambassador here since 2015. These issues that the ministers of foreign affairs should be picking interest into. Second point, Right Honorable Speaker and members, attending parliament is not a ritual by ministers. It must be mandatory. They attend cabinet on Monday and they should attend parliament on Thursday. But there are those who don't attend. And when you are discussing policy issues, policy is not delegated.
It shouldn't be only Thursday. We sit on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We talk of Thursday because that's where we get time to raise issues as they accompany the Prime Minister answering issues. But when you come here, you have very humble and obedient ministers like General, like the Honorable Sportsy, like the Whip. Even the Parliament should recognize these ones, while they blacklist those ones who don't come. Because the attendance of members of Parliament, attendance of ministers should be motivated. You find that some members of Parliament don't attend Parliament because of poor motivation, because the policies are not being answered. You find the Deputy Prime Minister is trying to look for the Minister of Works, they are not there. And that's why we have more than 2 ministers in each of the ministries. Lastly, we need to have a minister.
Somehow, they have improved. Credit must be given where it is due. They have really improved. I don't want to say it is as it used to be. They have improved.
As I finish, Right Honorable Speaker, we need, because the presidential pledges.
But the issue of Kenya, of the ambassador, is a very important issue. And Kinshasa. So you need to see how you forward that to the boss.
If I can finish,
but we also have a minister here of foreign affairs.
Can I finish then the answer together?
Okay.
Now, the issue of presidential pledges. Every member of parliament is blamed that he has not followed up a presidential pledge. And they have become historic. Related, can we have a minister special assigned for presidential pledges and we know where we can focus? Because they have become too many. An example, in my constituency, we promised they would be in Tekobo Homa Road. Now it is 10 years. So when I go there, I become unpopular because of presidential pledges. Why should I be gauged on the failures of presidential pledge? When I'm
Honorable Member,
I thank you very much.
Honorable Member, we have a committee on government assurance that is supposed to collect all government assurances. I mean pledges. It becomes a document of this house, and then we will ask for an action taken. That's why we give.
But right on,
I am speaking. Now, we've never got a report from that committee. How do you expect us to know what is pledged where? I'm not blamed. If you're blamed, I'm not blamed. Don't say all members are blamed. So, foreign affairs. Foreign affairs, can we have ambassadors?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will use two authorities in this respect. I will refer to the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995 as amended, and I also use the UN Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. I will start with the Constitution. Article 122 is very informative, and it states that the President may appoint ambassadors and heads of missions with approval of Parliament.
The word is may.
Yes, that's
not
the effective
shall.
word.
May, not shall.
Madam Speaker, indeed, in accordance with that provision, the President had appointed the late Honorable Dr. Galiwango, who passed on 19th January 2023. I will now go to provisions of the Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. And Article 4 states, and I want to read verbatim. Let me start with Article 5. The sending state may, after it has given due notification to the receiving state concerned, accredit a head of mission or assign any member of diplomatic staff to represent that state in the sending state. Madam Speaker, it's not true that we do not have a head of mission in the Republic of Kenya. Uganda has accredited one of the staff to head the mission in the Republic of Kenya, and the Republic of Kenya has never written back rejecting. So we are fully represented. Next, Madam Speaker, in respect to DRC, the assertion by the honorable colleague is also not true, that we don't have a head of mission. The UN Convention of 1961 and Article 4 states that the sending state must make certain that the agreement of the receiving state has been given for the person it proposes to accredit as head of mission to the receiving state. Madam Speaker, in the year 2022, Uganda received an agreement or an agreement in respect of the person who was sent as head of mission, and that person was received in the DRC and is duly there. The formalities of delivering or presenting credentials, those are other formalities. Uganda, as a sending states, received an agreement in respect of that person. So it's also not true that actually we do not have head of mission. And the country called DRC, I think, is one of the most packed in terms of foreign service officers, where we have 2 ambassadors on top of the one who is accredited or who was designated as the head of mission. So I would like to inform this House that we are not lacking in any respect in as far as deployment of heads of missions or foreign service officers representing this country. Thank you.
There's information from an ambassador.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. There are levels of representation in diplomatic missions. The one accredited by the head of state as a full ambassador is normally given the title of ambassador, extraordinary, and plenipotentiary. That means you have full powers of the head of state to commit your country conclusively, and not any other person. I agree that the head of state or the ministry can accredit an officer in the mission to represent the government, but he will not have the same powers or recognition as an ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary. And the tragedy of our diplomatic missions today is that they are being headed by people who are not fully accredited as ambassadors and plenipotentiaries. Governments respect people who have those powers to commit their governments. So we need to up our game and accredit officers with the full powers. And I'll go beyond that, Right Honorable Speaker. There are officers in the ministry who have joined the ministry to rise to the position of ambassadors. They are being frustrated. Those in the army join the army so that they become generals, like General Muhoozi here. Those in the police aim to become Inspector General of Police. It is the same thing with the Foreign Service Officer. He wants to become an ambassador, extraordinary and plenipotentiary. These guys are ending up being just protocol officers in missions. It is unfair for them. Let them rise to their careers and reach the top. Right, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. I want to hear from another ambassador. Yes.
Right.
You come and speak using that one. Ambassadors speak from there.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mine is not about the diplomatic issues.
Yes.
Thank you. But it's about FMD, Right Honorable Speaker. It started around FMD, foot-mouth disease, in our Mburo range.
You know, when you're speaking to persons who are not cattle keepers, you mention it in full.
Including Professor Elijah Mushemeza, he was surprised. Thank you. About FMD, foot-mouth disease. Right Honorable Speaker, it started like a month ago around the government farm Nagrik in Mburo rangeland. Yesterday,
Honorable members, listen.
Yesterday, I talked to the DVO of Nyabushozi as I was seated here with my colleagues. It has reached my own farm in Sanga, aware of the season we're going to next month. It will be a crisis not only for our area, but including Kampala especially. I beg government to intervene with vaccines, which were supplied especially by FAO 2 months ago, the ministry, and you help us. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister, Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, permit me just make clarity. With due respect to the senior retired ambassador, first of all, it's all true that the designated heads of missions that Uganda has accredited are not respected. We have not heard that. They are fully respected and they're in charge of those missions and they are delivering.
What he says, can that person commit a country?
Information.
Yes.
Can that person sign on behalf of
Yes.
the country?
Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Information.
Madam Speaker.
Information.
Can we, let's first hear from the minister.
There is no way a country can give an agreement if they do not respect a person proposed by the sending state. That's the standard. By the time you issue an agreement, there is a committee which vets and allows him in the country. After giving that agreement, that's a document that states that the person you are sending is fit within the framework and arena of the two authorities have cited, especially the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. And that's a standard. Until we hear or we get a notification from the sending state that this one has been rejected. And by the way, when they reject, we are obliged to withdraw as immediately as we get the confirmation of rejection. Uganda has not heard from those who are heading missions, including those who are not ambassadors, extraordinary and plenipotentiary. We have not heard any news, any information whatsoever that they have been rejected. We have not. That means we do due diligence sufficiently, and by the time we deploy, we have already received agreements for those, including the head of mission in the DRC. Like I explained, Madam Speaker, the process of presenting credentials is another ritual. But the fundamental bottom line is about granting an agreement. It is the instrument which permits you to land in the receiving state. And that also shows that you have been duly vetted and found sufficient to represent the sending state. Thank you.
Richard?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance regarding implementation of the new teacher policy in this country. Right Honorable Speaker, under the new teacher policy, all teachers are supposed to be graduates from early childhood to university. In doing so, government decided to close all grade 3 teacher colleges in the country so that we no longer have grade 3 teachers, and those are supposed to go and upgrade grade 5 up to bachelors. The concern, Right Honorable Speaker, last week I was in my constituency in Bundubujo, and we also had a grade 3 teacher training college. I was tongue-tied to discover that when the teachers' college was closed, even after engaging us stakeholders to have it repurposed to change into a nursing school, but because of funds, it could not start immediately. Now it has been abandoned.
Is there a switch off your cabinet?
With a lot of infrastructure and a lot of facilities, the teachers' college in Bundubujo, I don't know what is happening about the others. It has been abandoned. It is in the bush. The capitation grant was withdrawn. It has not been handed over to the district. It is actually in nobody's hands.
There's a procedure matter.
Madam Speaker, in a situation that your doctor is missing in the house, and Madam Speaker, with the advice of your doctor of 2 hours, we are going to almost 4 hours. Madam Speaker, I don't know whether, since we really love you and love your health, I don't know whether we are proceeding well by you continuing
Honorable
in the house
members,
such a matter.
honorable members, you know, it's good to have Simagolas in the house. I adjourned the house to 2 on Tuesday.
Ya,